Hi Michael. First off, it felt like you kind of had the momentum going into the last match in terms of the run-in. Obviously it didn't exactly go to plan the other night, but does it still feel fairly similar in terms of that momentum?
Yeah, it hasn't changed. Hasn't changed, how we feel, how we approach it. I think we definitely understand this stage of the season. There's results all the way through the league that happen. Some go in your favour, some might go a little bit against us. But it's level-headed is important, as best as we can keep that and channel that. And we know that we've still got a big job to do, and there's a lot ahead of us, and then where we played and the way the game went and finishing so strong in the game. I think that there was kind of a good energy and a good positivity still in the stadium at the end, which was showed how well the boys had done, so we can carry that with us.
And do you still feel that your destiny's in your own hands when it comes to making the playoffs?
Yeah, in many ways. I think it's we are where we are, and we know that. It's just simple terms, it comes down to winning games. It comes down to winning games, and other teams, like we've seen, will do other things, and we can't control that. But it only means something if we win games. So it's all we're thinking about, really. And
so, a day or two on from it, what are your overall reflections on that match against Leeds?
I thought it was a good game. I thought we obviously didn't start too well, but I thought as the game progressed, I thought we showed a lot of character, actually, a lot of togetherness and an awful lot of quality to be able to play the game in that manner against a team of such quality, who have had so many points over the last 2 seasons. There's no denying they're a really good team, top team in this in this league, and we feel we should have got something from the game. So that's the positive. Played well second half, created chances, just didn't go for us, and sometimes that's football, but we did a lot of good things.
And was the frustration that you didn't manage to take those chances?
Yeah, we wanted to win the game, of course, yeah, but that's football. It's done. We moved on from it, and we'll try and be a little bit better next time out.
And obviously they had 2 goals which were ruled offside, which may or may not be actually offside. I mean, was there a sense in which maybe you felt a little bit lucky, or does that not come into it, that it was only 1-0 in the end?
We lost the game anyway, to be honest, in the end. So lucky, unlucky, whatever. I think decisions come and go. We've had them ourselves, and sometimes you get them edging your way, sometimes you don't. I still prefer it that way, I have to say. I think that instant kind of, we know what's happening. I think there's still in that, and sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. But I think in the emotion and the energy in the stadium, I think it's better, really. I have to say that, and hopefully we'll get some going our way in the next few games.
And so, looking ahead to the weekend, then, what are you expecting from Millwall?
Yeah, listen, it's a tough place to go. They're a very good team in a good position, obviously just behind us in the league, and done a lot of good things and changed manager, but had some very, very good results, and it's a tough place to go anytime. They've obviously got a lot to play for themselves, so that's what the stadium and the atmosphere will probably bring. But as pretty much every game we go into, I think we're really focused on trying to get the best from ourselves and then seeing what the game brings.
And are there any particular injury updates going into that, or is it as it was? Brilliant, thank you very much.
What makes the game special, in your opinion, as an opposing manager or player?
I think it's got that kind of bit of history, and a bit of feeling about the place, and I think every club's got its own kind of feeling and fan base and culture and environment in different ways. It's pretty obviously Millwall over the years has been a tough place to go, and it's a good challenge for any team.
It could be quite spectacular, couldn't it? I mean, it's a playoff shootout as far as they're concerned, and well, maybe you as well.
There's still plenty to do after this one, so it's not all on one game. But yeah, of course, it's just the time of year, and they've put themselves as us in a position that they're hoping for more, and it's what these games bring.
I know he says plenty of time to go, but there's not that long to go after this. How conscious are you of the need to if not be in the top six, then certainly not lose contact.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm well aware of that. I'm just meaning, this one game, it's not all decided on Saturday. For sure, there's a need for points. There's no getting away from that. We'll do everything we can to win the game, and but that's the fact of the matter. And there's still games, and I think we've seen it over a week. We had a little round where results kind of went for us, and we won, and then it flips in your favour, and then a result or two, and it can go the other way quite quickly. And so I think that'll carry on. That's not going to be decided on Saturday.
You can play with your emotions, can't it? These late winners, because it wasn't just Coventry. Bristol City got a 97th minute winner, I think, on Tuesday. Yeah,
honestly, it's not something. Greatest respect to other teams, not something that affected me one bit emotionally, really. Purely thinking about the Leeds game and then the Millwall game, and that's it. That's how I've always dealt with things, and it's been alright with me for that, and get excited by what we can do, really, more than anything.
You're glad not to have to think about Josh Coburn, because he obviously can't play because he's your player, but he got the winner for them in the last match.
Yeah, Josh has done well. Scored goals, been a big presence for them in the team, and when he's been fit, a bit of a stop-start season, but it's good to see him doing well.
Thanks.
Just carrying off the back of that, Michael obviously doing well. When he returns in the summer, I'm not necessarily seeing a decision to be made yet, but do you think there's going to be a decision to make one way or the other with Josh and his future?
No, there's always a decision. Yeah, for sure, and the way the season's gone for him, and he's done well. Obviously went there to play games, and he has done when he's been fit. So I'm really pleased that he's done so well. I like Josh. He's a really good lad. He's got a great attitude towards the game, and so I'm pleased that he's done well.
Yeah. Just on the injury front, about the injuries, is George any closer to joining back?
He's a little bit closer, but he won't be ready for this weekend.
Yeah, and obviously with the season kind of ticking down now, any of the longer term lads like Dara, Alex, all at the end?
Yeah, like Dara and Alex, Dara might be in and around it at some point training soonish, but in terms of being ready to play it kind of full tilt, then we'll see how that goes. But yeah, other than that, we're pretty much waiting on George.
Yeah, and obviously Deal came back on few minutes at the end the other night. Ralph's obviously been back in it in a couple of games now. With Johnny in mind, it's probably the first time really for a little while that you've had two natural fit centre backs there, but given how well Johnny's done, do you almost consider him at the moment as just one of the centre backs? Yeah,
I think it's just testament to Johnny, really, that he puts things in perspective, and it's all in a position where he's played well, and you can see him as both, really, without having to think too much about it. And yeah, I mean, I have to say he's done fantastic since he's came into the team, and give us that bit of steeliness, and led by example, a bit of composure at the right time as well. So it's nice to be able to have the choice as well of who to play and what game and who suits. But yeah, he's done great.
Yeah, we've spoken about Josh. Quite a few ex-Borough players in that Millwall squad. One who joined recently was young AJ Matthews, who obviously you give a debut to at this club and everything. In January, when that decision came to be made, was it a difficult one to say a young lad who you'd given a debut to, leave the club? Yeah,
I think there's two sides to it. I think there's as a football club and as an academy, you do a lot of work. Like personally, not as much as what the coaches in the academy do, and all the staff to kind of develop and help younger players, and hopefully to get in the first team here is the first thing. But secondly, is then can we help them have a career in the game, and or can we help make them better people and grown up so that they can have a career in whatever they want to do. It's there's only so many that can actually get into the first team and stay, and it's a tough thing to do. And so there's mixed, I think, for the academy. When you see a player come through and go on and have a successful kind of career elsewhere, I think that's in some ways can be just as successful for the club. And it happens. So we had to make that decision, and it was right for everybody in the end. And we certainly wished him all the best. Now we still do that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in the modern game you've got the natural pressures of winning week to week. So his head coaches, little times have forwarded a couple of results, and your positions in question, things like that. You've got the game in general with the money being spent, the quality, the tempo, etc. Does all that kind of make it a little bit harder in some ways for young players to kind of break through and make that step up to being a regular in a first team?
I don't know. Not necessarily. I think if you need a little bit to be in the right position at the right time, and I think there's moments. I think if you're doing a lot of good things as a younger player and doing enough, then you find yourself in and around in the right position. But I think it's just difficult to say. It doesn't make it harder or easier. I think it's just the way it is, And as young players, I think there's a lot that they get these days that years gone by you might not get, in terms of the facilities, the culture, and the access to all sorts of different things to try and help you become a player, And then, of course, it'll never change. You need that moment in the first team, you need that moment to train with the first, you need that moment to take that step up. That'll never change. But I do feel if you do enough good things and be noticed and make impressions and do enough to help yourself, then in the end you'll find a way.
Yeah, obviously this club prides itself on its academy and invests a lot to keep it at the top level. Do you still see that as, for not just necessarily this club, any club, do you still see that as really important thing?
It has to be, or there won't be any. Young players have to come through somehow, or there won't be a game in 10-15 years time. So it's some clubs put more importance on it than others. Spend more on it than others. Some can spend so much, whatever. That's every club's got their own way of doing things, But in terms of young players coming through and having the opportunity, we need that. We need to nurture them and help develop them, and everyone needs a chance. We certainly need as much talent coming through as we can get.
I know you talked about Kel after the game on Tuesday night, Michael, but on his side, is there a frustration at how his loan's playing out so far? Does he think there's more to give, more to come?
Yeah, I don't know what the mad fuss about is, to be honest. I think he's we played in a team that we've just won a number of games over a short period of time, and he's been a big part of that. Made 2 goals. I was part of 2 goals the other night. Blackburn. Scored the one before that in a massive goal for us at the time. Perspective's important, I think.
Was that the frustration on Tuesday that you felt, maybe with the reaction that you felt he was just coming into something the games before that?
Say that again.
Was that part of your frustration on Tuesday, the fact that he had played that part, the 2 assists to Blackburn, the goal against Oxford? Maybe the reaction on Tuesday, your frustration with that was because you felt he was just coming into some form?
I think the boys are in a good place, and I think we're playing in the game. I think that wasn't an easy game, That was as tough a game as you get in this league, pretty much, against the players that are right at the top. So again, perspective's important. I think we're coming from a good place. We've had good momentum. Everything's positive from where we are.
And just one more on Kel. He's played obviously primarily as a number 10. What do you like about him in that role? What do you think he offers? What do you like that he offers in there?
I think it's a natural position for him, really. He can score goals, he can create goals. He's done that his career. He's dangerous. He can link up. He's got an eye for a pass and a through ball. Just the positioning around it where he plays. And I think I've said it quite some time. I think front players are quite fluid anyway, and pop up and link with. We're not so rigid as especially in and around the attacking areas. So. Bit of freedom to go and express themselves.
And how's Riley? Because I can imagine he's frustrated at how this season's played out for him.
Yeah, right. He's just getting back to full fitness, really, and over the last couple of weeks, and back training with us, and just want to make sure he was fully right. We kind of come back into the squad when he hadn't really trained with us, to get him back in around it and with eyes on a good finish to the season, and that's kind of where we're at now. So it's good to have him back. He's an important part for us, important part of the group, part of the team, and it's great to have him back.
Even if it's not this season, because obviously time's running out, can he be as influential for you as he was in the second half of your first season?
Yeah, I think he's been influential since then as well. I think that's it. I think as a player, it's continues, it evolves, and it's always about what's next. We're never looking back, and we take a lot from knowing what the boys are capable of doing and seeing it and having evidence of it. But I think it's always about what's next, and who's in a good place, who's hungry for more, what how can we improve the players that little bit more, what they got left to kind of fulfill the potential, all that. And it's always what's next. It's always what's next for me, coaches, the club, everything. We're always hungry. The world's like that now. Everything's now. What's next? And that's the same for the players.
And Bristol City and Coventry, you've talked a lot. Their last minute goals in the last couple of nights. You've talked a lot in the last few weeks about just focusing on yourselves, not ignoring, but not getting drawn into what happens elsewhere. Are those two games an example of why? Because that would be mentally exhausting, wouldn't it, if you do get...
It's impossible. It's impossible. For us in our position, it's impossible to come in and when you got to perform. I think in surrounding that, of course, that's part of the game. In terms of the ups and downs and watching it, and I've been on the outside of it a little bit and being part of that myself, and that's what you get caught up in. That's the beauty of the game, And there's no way I'm playing that down. I just mean for us, when we're in it and we got every little bit counts, and we got to pull everything we can out of it. We can't let our mind wander and wasting energy on things that we can't actually really fully control. And I'm fully aware of what the situation is, what's going on around it, but I don't spend my time worrying about what elsewhere. I think there's a big difference, and you don't take it as we're just kind of boring, mundane, just nothing else matters. It certainly does, but it doesn't help us in terms of our preparation and the performance levels if we're thinking about other things.
And last week I sat here and asked you whether it was 2 from 4 and then Millwall go and win at Sheffield United and the 3 points back, then those Bristol City Coventry goals. Does that just show that there's going to be a load of twist between now and the end of the season?
Yeah, 100%. I think it was going back to the Oxford game when we were down, and at that stage at half time of that, I remember talking to you after the game, that could have looked different. 45 minutes later the whole thing flips on its head and the day turned out okay for us. So I think that's why, in saying about there's still a lot of football to be played. There's not many games left, I know that, but it flips so quickly. 10-15 minutes in a game of football can flip the whole picture quite quick. So again, bit of patience, perspective on it, hungry, and I'd say desperate in a bad way, but keen as we can possibly be we want it next and we want the next win, definitely, but still that little bit of not getting too gung-ho about things just yet.
Thank you.
Yeah, mentioned about going to the new den, and Johnny Howson, with his experience and his captaincy on the pitch, is it important to have him in there?
Yeah, I think we can all see what Johnny's brought. Really, it's not a surprise to any of us. I think he's done it for so long, and playing centre back gives him that chance to see the whole game in front of him and to read it and to use his head and the experience that he's got, and certain games you draw on that experience and he can help some of the younger players. Yeah, 100%.
And it seems that it does seem like really good that the midfielders playing in front of him, Aidan Morris and Hayden Hackney, him being there, I guess the quiet word and leading by example as well, perhaps.
Yeah, in a way, I think he's played with H enough, and since H got in the team, pretty much, not so much with Aidan, but yeah, I think just having it in and around the team and having that, he doesn't even have to say an awful lot, Johnny. I think it's how he acts, how he behaves, how he reads things and sees things, and everyone can learn from that. And
it will be a different sort of atmosphere at Millwall. There'll be a lot of Borough fans there as well, and obviously we had a very good result on the road at Blackburn when there was a big support. So once again, how much is that support going to help at Millwall? Yeah, 100%. I think that support always spurs us on, to get that feeling and seeing the support and numbers and feeling the noise. And then obviously now coming the end of the season, now more than ever, it's important, and them swings and moments and games, and where we're up or we're having a sticky time, the supporters play their part in a massive way, more than probably realise. So hopefully we can have some good results between now and the end.
Sorry, Michael, I just wanted to ask, we're speaking to Michael Mulhern after this. The girls have got a massive game on Sunday. You've obviously talked and seen the impact of the home fans at the Riverside and big games at this stage of the season, and they can play a big part again for the girls. Yeah,
I play a huge part. It's coming to the end in there, and done fantastic, and Mick and the girls done great. So yeah, I'd encourage everyone to try and get down there and support and feed off that atmosphere and try and get them over the line.